Welcome back. This is the 11th lecture of our web development using ChatGPT and Ruby on Rails series. And in the last lecture, we learned how to export active record objects in the CSV format. And we prompted all the questions to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT helped us to implement that CSV export service class. And you can see that we did this thing like CSV export service. Okay, but here we need to correct one thing that this CSV export service doesn't indicate that what we want to generate. Okay, or for what model or what active record model we want to generate the CSV export. Okay, so what we can do, we can simply name this file as employee CSV, or yeah, employee CSV export service.rb. Okay, and name this correct the class name here as well, employee CSV export service. And then we need to fix this class name onto the employee controller as well, so we will do this here as well. Okay, employee export service. Okay, and now let's try to generate the CSV, new CSV file. So dot csv. Okay, and when you generate this, you can see that a new CSV file with the generated, and we corrected the service class name here, that is employee CSV export service. And this is the better naming convention because this will separate the concerns. I mean, it will clearly indicate that this CSV export service is for the employee export data. Okay, or for exporting the employee data into the CSV format. Now come to the point of this lecture that we want to cover, that we covered the CSV export data in the last lecture. Now in this lecture we will ask ChatGPT that how we can export list of active record objects into the Microsoft Excel format or XLS format. Okay, so first what we need to do, that we need to go to the ChatGPT, and here we will ask that I want to export active record objects in XLS format or Excel format. So, what are the best Ruby gems for this purpose? Okay, and when you prompt this question, then ChatGPT will start telling you that we have Ruby provide multiple gems like ru asxls or spreadsheet. Okay, so you can go through the entire response and you can find the suitable gem for you. Okay, but I would like to go with the spreadsheet gem. First of all, to be honest, that this is the gem that I have worked in past. Okay, and if you wish, you can go through the ASXL and RU gem as well. Okay, but I will go with the gem spreadsheet. So what I will ask that I want to implement Excel export using the spreadsheet gem. How can I do this? Okay, so it will now show the steps that how you can do this using the spreadsheet gem. Okay, so this is the entire response. You can go through and you can find that the steps are here, but these steps are not clearly because this is showing for a random step or a general step. Okay, so for example, suppose you have a user controller. Okay, and you want to export all the user data or all the user records into an Excel sheet. Okay, then it will you can follow these steps and you can export your user records within the spreadsheet or the Microsoft Excel format file. Okay, but we have an employee model, so we will ask ChatGPT that we have an employee model with these attribute. Okay, and I want to do this using a separate service class to export the employee record. So how can I do that? So first go to the Rails console, and here employee dot column names. Okay, and here we will tell ChatGPT that we have these attributes in the employee table or employee column, sorry, employee model. So let's say I have an employee model with following attributes. and I want to export these attributes, or I want to export all employees into Excel file. How can I do that? Also, please give me the export logic into the separate service class. Okay, and as soon as you prompt this question to the chat gpt will tell you that let the response to be finished here. Okay, so the response has been finished. Now we can go through the response. Here you can see. First, we need to ensure that we have spreadsheet gem installed in the project. So we need to add gem spreadsheet into the project, and then we need to run the bundle install. Okay, and then we need to create a service class like employee export service, or we will create its name with employee Excel export service. Okay, and here you can see that what we need to do, that we just need to use this entire employee service class, okay, into our code. And here you can see that what it is showing: id, first name, last name, email, contact number, address, pin code, city, date of birth, date of hiring, created date, updated date. However, if you want, you can simply provide employee dot column names as headers. Okay, and here you can see spreadsheet.row.concat headers. So these attribute names will be set as the header into the Excel file, and then you can start adding data of the employee into the Excel file with this logic. Here you can see employee.each with index, and then you can start adding data. And here you can see that it is creating the Excel data using the string.io.new class, and then book.write Excel data. So it will now write the data into the Excel sheet. Okay, and this will send the data into the string format. And here you can see that now you can do something like that. Okay, so we will go with that way. Okay, so first what we will do, that we will install the spreadsheet gem. So just use this copy code line and go to the project directory and open the gem file and come to the bottom, and here we need to add the spreadsheet gem. And as mentioned in the chat gpt, what we need to do now, just go to the new terminal tab and run the bundle install. Okay, so it will install the spreadsheet gem into our project. Since I already have installed this gem into my system, so it is not showing as the new line, but you can see that it is coming with the spreadsheet 131. Okay, so this is the version of the gem. So that means the spreadsheet gem is now installed in my application. Now what I need to do, that as mentioned in the chat gpt, I need to create a service class, that is employee export service.rb or employee export service.rb. So we will create the class name with employee excel service export.rb. Okay, so what we can do, just copy this name. Okay, and here in the services we need to create a new file and save it as employee export service. So employee excel export service.rb. Okay, so our new service file has been saved, and now what we need to do, we need to copy the entire code and we need to paste it here. And here we need to correct the class name, that is employee excel export service. Okay, and now you can see that it is clearly defined that this is our service class. Now if you wish, you can do your headers like this, or if you wish, you can make your headers like, let's say, headers equal to employee dot column names as well. Okay, or if you wish, you can uh, clearly remove the underscore characters from here like this one, and then you need to make it a string and remove the w from here. Okay, and then you can make it last name. Okay, and make sure to introduce the comma after every attribute name. Okay, so let's do this like here: email, contact number, this for every attribute. Okay, let's remove underscore from here. Remove underscore, and the last is updated it, make it a string, and remove underscore here. Okay, so now you can see that our export to excel method has the headers name and it is the better format. However, if you wish, you can add or remove number of attributes from here. For example, if you don't want to print the created date and updated date, you can remove from here, and id from here. If you don't want to list these attribute, and do the same thing from here as well, like remove the id from here, and whatever attribute you removing from the headers, you can remove their values from the rows as well. Okay, so this is how it will work. Okay, and here you can see that I already explained that how it works. Like, it first generate the excel set data using string.io class, and then it will write your result into the excel sheet, and then it will return it as a string. Okay, and then the next thing what we need to do, that you can go to the controller format. Okay, here you can see that what it is doing, that it is doing it in a separate action, that is export excel. Okay, but we want to do this using format.xls format within the employees controllers index section, like we did here. Okay, so here you can see respond to format.html, format.csv, and then similarly we need to use the format.xls. Okay, so we can ask ChatGPT that I want to uh, use the employee export service class in this format. I want to do this within this block. So when you submit it, you can see. So here you can see that it has given you format.xls. Okay, and then generate excel. Okay, so what you can do, you can simply copy this format.xls line. Okay, and then here after the format.csv you need to paste it, but make sure that we have generate xls method, but we don't have the generate xls method. Instead what we have, export to excel method, so we will call the export to excel method here instead of generate excel. Okay, or you can rename your method as generate excel here as well if you want to use the generate excel. So whatever you do, it will work. Okay, and now then here you can see in the controller what it has, employees data and so on. Now it's time to test that whether our employee exporting within the uh, excel format is working or not. So just to save the controller file and make sure to save the service file as well. Okay, and then go to the terminal where server is running and restart your rail server. Why we need to restart? Because we added a new gem, and whenever we add a new gem, we need to restart the servers to get the effect of that gem, or to get that effect changeable into our system. Okay, so restart the server and now go to the project directory where server is running and refresh the page. Here you can see that you are getting an error that to respond to a custom format, register it as a MIME type first. Why custom format? Because here you can see that in the employee controller, format.html is the default format provided by the Rails, format.csv supported by Rails, format.json, format.js, format.xml, that are all the formats supported by the Rails itself. But XLS is a kind of custom format, and we first need to register it as a MIME type. Okay, so what we will do, that we will do nothing here. We will ask ChatGPT that I'm getting this error. So let me help to, can you please help me to fix it? Okay, so now let's call this error, copy this error and go to the ChatGPT and tell itself that I'm getting the following error. Please help me to fix this. And when you prompt this, ChatGPT will help you that the error you are, let's finish the response first. Okay, so okay, so now here you can see that the error you are encountering typically occurs when Rails doesn't recognize the format you are trying to respond to. Okay, and the same thing is error saying here that to respond to a custom format. That means the Rails did not recognize this format .xls. Okay, so what we need to do, that to fix this issue, you need to register the custom format with a corresponding MIME type. In case you are trying to respond to the .xls format, which is not natively supported by the Rails, you can register a custom MIME type for Excel files and then respond to that format. Okay, so we need to create a file with name MIME type.rb in our initializers. So just copy this file name MIME types.rb and go to the project directory, and we need to create the file within the initializers. Okay, so create a new file, save the file name as mime types.rb. Okay, and then just to mention whatever is mentioned here, just paste it. Now we have a mime type registered for our custom format, which is xls, and now Rails will support this, and now Rails will recognize that xls format, that it is defined as a mime type within our initializers. Okay, and just remove this comment. Okay, save the mime type.rb, and now just like whenever we add a new gem into our application, we restart the server. Make sure whenever you make something into initializers files, in any of the initializers file, to see the effect of that error, you need to restart your server. Okay, for example, if I go to the browser now and I refresh the page, I'm still getting the error. Okay, but if I go to the terminal, restart my Rails server, and come to the browser now and refresh the page, now you will see that I'm not seeing the error anymore. Why? Because I made the changes into the initializer file, and to see the effect of that change, I make sure, or you need to make sure, that you are restarting a Rails server. Okay, now what we need, that we need to download the data into the xls format. So what we can do here, just like csv, that we will do employees.xls, XLS, and then we will hit the enter, and here you can see that the employees XLS has been downloaded. So if you open that file, you can see that we are seeing data like that, and this is the header values like first name, last name, created date, updated date, that we downloaded here. Okay, here you can see that all these things are working, and this is how we can export data using XLS format. Okay, now in the next lecture, what we will do, that we will ask ChatGPT to help us in importing the data. Okay, we just created export functionality for csv in excel. Now we will ask ChatGPT to import data using xls and csv. Okay, and why we need import? Because for example, suppose sometimes you need a kind of feature where you need to create record in bulk by uploading some files. So in that case, that importing feature will help us. Okay, and I just want to tell you one more thing before closing this lecture. For example, I explained very briefly this class, like what this class is doing. Okay, so if you want to know more about this, you can ask ChatGPT that please explain what is doing the employee export service. Okay, so you can just copy this class name and now prompt to the ChatGPT. Please explain that what is employee export service class is doing, or how it works. And when you prompt the question, then it will explain each and every part of this file, and then you can go through this and you can just see how to use it and how to do that. So okay, so this is how we can implement the export service class, and I'm sure you will go with the last prompt. I mean, how the employee export service class will work, and then you will get to know more better about this feature. Okay, so try this lecture at your end, and we will meet into the next lecture by importing the bulk records using CSV format first, and then in the next lecture we will see how to do this using Excel format. Okay, so just follow this lecture. Until then, Tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.